Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Department of History and Modern Studies. This is an options talk for why to choose Advanced Higher History in your 6th year. Let me tell you why. We are an excellent department with outstanding results year on year. And in terms of Advanced Higher History, we achieve no less than 80% A's at minimum annually, and that in itself would suggest that we have a very strong academic success rate overall. We study Britain at War and Peace 1938 to 1951, which is of course modern history, and it takes in a full gamut of topics and themes that will hopefully whet your appetite. So for example, you'll see from the course outline here that we have got 10 segments, 10 sections that we focus on from 38 to 1951 and beyond. And if you look here, we take in the full kind of array of political history, economic history, we look at military, social history, and it gives us a real sense of a variety of themes and issues that you can get your teeth into. We do not have a textbook for Advanced Higher History, and that is an excellent thing, because of course one of the big things that we do in Advanced Higher is that we train you for university. So we train you to research and to read independently, to assimilate information, to collate that information, to synthesize and to establish your own personal views and your judgments. So let's have a wee peek at the themes that you'll be covering. So for example, we look at British preparedness for war. To what extent was Britain prepared for war at the outbreak in September 1939? To what extent were they prepared militarily, domestically in terms of civil defence, economically, did they have a war economy, and looking diplomatically, how many allies were in situ? So we get a chance to look at the areas and themes and really discuss and debate the extent to which Britain was prepared. And we look at historians along the way to find out their views and opinions, and they inform ours. Although, at the end, all of our young people, all of our students will make their own decisions based on their evidence. We will move on to look at, for example, the resignation of Neville Chamberlain. He resigns his post on the 10th of May 1940, and we look at why did he resign as Prime Minister at that time. This is at the point where the phony war is ending, and of course the real material nature of war begins to take place and transpire, and it leads to obviously Winston Churchill being appointed Prime Minister thereafter. So we look at the reasons why he resigned, and again there's a lot of historians that vilified Chamberlain, see him as an individual who was not fit for purpose, not a good Prime Minister. However, we've got revisionists who argue actually he's had a very, very, very critical review and it's been unwarranted, and they revisit him with more sensitive eyes. And again, you'll get a chance to think whether you believe or you do not believe the arguments. And again, military. Oh my goodness, it's an area that we haven't touched on before, but it's a brilliant section. We look, for example, at the RAF. We look at fighter command in terms of the Battle of Britain. We look at the role of bomber command. Remember, bomber command would be the offensive section of RAF, who would be attacking enemy countries through bombing, initially strategic bombing and later through indiscriminate bombing. And we discuss the impact, and we look at the efficacy of the RAF in both battles. Battle of Britain in 1940, and of course looking at the role of bomber command across the war itself. We look at the role of the Royal Navy in the Battle of the Atlantic, and we pick into the picture, of course, we consider the role of the USA in supporting that of the Royal Navy as well. And we get a real sense of the extent to which technology, for example, was that the main reason for Britain by 1943 achieving a turning point in their success? Or was it through their leadership and strategy? Again, you get a chance to discuss and debate. Then we move on to look at social history. And again, this is an area that our students invariably love. We'll look at the impact of the Blitz, evacuation, the role of rationing, Home Guard, otherwise known as Dad's Army, but it gives you a sense of, what took place at home. How did we cope as a British nation with war? And the home front, remember, was again a new front line. And so therefore, in the mobilisation of a war effort, equality of sacrifice, these phrases, are they more apparent than real? We get a chance to look, discuss and debate. We look at the role of, we have Winston Churchill on the right hand side here, but of course this was the big three that during the course of the war would have met to discuss wartime strategy, landings in France, but also of course the post-war tapestry that would be Europe. And of course we look here, we see F.D. Roosevelt and of course Joseph Stalin, and we consider, for example, the dynamic of these three key men, how impactful were they. We look at political events. You can see in the forefront of this picture is Clement Attlee, leader of the Labour Party. And again, we look at the impact of the 1945 election, which brought Labour to prominence as a democratic elected government for the first time. Then we look at the 1951 election when they lose their governance. They lose the electorate effectively through first past the post, and we consider the successes, for example, through their post-war social and economic reform. We look at the five giants, were they slain? Had Labour achieved all that it set out to achieve? How successful were they? So there's a lot that we cover, and it's really interesting and really engaging, and something that our students love. The actual paper itself, the external assessment, well, we have got components that we would engage with you in relation to this advanced exam. The project is produced before the examination. It takes place in May, and we'll come back and discuss it in a second, but it's a 50 mark project, which is another equivalent of an assignment. We have in the examination itself a 3-hour paper, and that 3-hour paper has got 2 sections. Part 1 is 2 essays. Both essays collectively equate with 50 marks. It's 25 marks per essay. And we've also got part 2, which is again 3 sources and requisite relevant questions worth 40 marks as well. The beauty of this topic, of course, is that it's one singular topic, unlike higher history, where you had a source paper that was again a different topic. We did the Scottish Wars of Independence. Right now you could be tested as an essay or a source question on the same topics, which in itself means that you have to be quite flexible and academic, but actually it's wonderful training for university. And as I say, from our academic results, our students succeed greatly in this. And again, we can see the breakdown of what that May exam looks like. 2 25 mark essays for part 1 and part 2 with 40 marks. That's our sources. You've got 2 questions that are worth 12 marks each, and then you've also got a 16 mark question as well. And it's not too far removed from what you'd have done at higher. Of course, it's expecting a bit more of you, but then you would expect that as well, but you are more than capable of it. The project that I said is worth 50 marks. It's 4,000 words long. You choose your topic, and unlike higher, where you would be sitting an assignment under examination conditions, this is a piece of work that would have an abstract to outline your project itself, 3 chapters where you're able to explore an issue of your choice from a list of approved subject matters, and you'd have a conclusion at the end. It allows you to research. I teach you how to use the Harvard referencing system, and you are able to utilise both primary and secondary sources along the way. It's a really wonderful training programme for university again, where you really have to do the research on your own. You have to learn to write and synthesise and to construct a line of argument through chapters, building from one chapter to the other. And again, it's something that you become extremely proud of. And it's a wonderful opportunity to explore an area of interest. Careers, goodness, the transferable skills that history offers you provides you with exceptional opportunity in a vast array of careers. And here you can see from teaching and journalism to social work, from publishing media, generally speaking, going into government, looking at archaeology, accountancy, lecturing. It's the transferable skills of reading and research and synthesis that allows you to have a full array of opportunity. And many university courses will look towards history as an excellent skill set that will lead you to being able to, for example, write essays as you explore your university career and beyond. So I look forward to welcoming every one of you to Advanced Higher History, and it's a wonderful, fun-filled, excellent, challenging, but oh my goodness, it's certainly for me my highlight of my teaching. But don't just take my word for it. I would like you to hear from a few of my Advanced Higher students about why they value Advanced Higher History so much.
So I've studied history all my senior school life, and I've always really loved the subject. And for me, Advanced Higher History has offered me a newfound freedom in terms of building up my own arguments and talking more about my opinion about the essays, which I found really invaluable. These sort of skills I've developed in history classroom have really I think will set me up well for university and also for later life. And I really enjoy the speaking and communication aspect of history, which offers itself more in Advanced Higher History as opposed to National 5. And we do a lot more discussions and debates about it, which I really enjoyed. Also, the course content I've really loved this year, especially Chamberlain's Resignation, as it allows you to voice your own opinions on the matter, and everyone's kind of opinion is taken into account, which I really enjoy.
I'd really recommend taking Advanced Higher History, as I feel like it gave me a newfound freedom from S5 into the more independent study, which will help you transition into a more uni-like style of studying.
Studying advanced history is such a vital skill for anyone who wants to go on to university, especially for myself since I want to study history at university. Doing the step up from the higher essays has been gradual, but you can really tell the difference, and it's really honed my skills in getting my point of argument across, as well as the dissertation that we're doing, where you have to write about 3 areas of one topic.
Advanced Higher History is a great subject to study as it prepares you for university. Through independent research and development of analytical skills, this engages a mindset vital for university. So in essence, take Advanced Higher History.